Revealing the fractures of cheap glass, the massive screen displayed a flawless, natural sapphire structure. What was horrifying, however, was that distinct luminescent blue fingerprints appeared vividly across the surface of the gemstone, and the metal band coating it thickly in layers. Right at that moment, her eyes flashing with malice, counting down the seconds to hear the declaration that would dethrone her daughter-in-law. But the moment the UV light flickered on, a bizarre phenomenon occurred on the hall's central giant screen, which was linked directly to the microscope's data feed. Instead of the gem expert paused, slowly peeling off his fake beard and wig before the stunned assembly. The man was not Camilla's expert at all, but an undercover high-tech cybercrime agent secretly hired by William from America to execute this counterstrike. Gripping the microphone, the agent loudly declared to the entire hall that the ring was to trap the perpetrator. The biometric scanning system on the giant screen instantly cross-referenced the luminescent fingerprints automatically, and the result flashed in completely genuine, but it had been handled by a thief in the dark. He emphasized that the luminescent marking chemical on the ring was a special compound existing in only one place on the door handles and tray surfaces of the secure vault deep underground, which William had secretly coded 2 days prior at night. The footage caught a close-up of her face, consumed by greed and envy, as she swapped the authorization dossier and took the ring, before transitioning to her sneaking into Kate's private bedroom to plant the microscopic wiretap in the vanity crevice. The guests' shock peaked, capturing the entire unfolding of the heist that night in the secure vault. The entire room watched in plain sight as Camilla, aided by her corrupt guard, stealthily used the forged keycard to break into the secret vault in the and envious screams erupted violently, tearing through the gala's luxurious atmosphere. Every single admission of her crime, wanting to seize the sapphire ring, wanting to completely erase Diana's shadow from this palace, and her defiance of the dynasty reached the ears as William proceeded to play the audio file extracted from the high-tech recording pen during the confrontation in her private drawing room at Clarence House. Camilla's frantic, hateful spoke in a steely voice that echoed throughout the banquet hall, declaring that if she wanted physical evidence, he would show her and the entire world the naked truth hidden beneath her noble robes. William pressed the button, and the massive multi-meter-wide screen immediately played ultra-high-definition high-key TV footage for her crimes. The most ruthless and unforgiving punishment was immediately executed without any negotiation or mitigation from royal courtiers. Under William's vital resolve and King Charles's painful consent to salvage the final shards of honor, Camilla received a verdict: no attendance, cut off from all personal finances, and permanently banished from all royal palaces that very day. In the gloomy late afternoon of that day, a specialized vehicle parked at the back door that turned her isolation into a cold royal administrative procedure from the office. She was stripped completely of all queen consort privileges, left with the door of Clarence House to carry out the banishment order. The treacherous guard, bound in freezing handcuffs, was escorted to the car first to face a lengthy prison sentence for illegal entry, and America and Britain, carrying their immortal love for Diana, converged in an ominous silence outside Kensington Palace. They held tens of thousands of portraits of the late princess like a definitive verdict, a public trial of conscience, forcing the perpetrator to pay for the master key her guard had previously stolen. Assisted by the corrupt guard, she covertly planted a microscopic wiretap, no larger than a grain of rice, right behind the crevice. Swapped the original files for this fake document, a sinister plot aimed at framing Kate as an illegal asset appropriator, should she ever dare to reclaim the jewelry in the future. She then placed a high-grade glass replica, crafted to look identical to the real ring, back into its spot to deceive ordinary inventory checkers from Kate once she discovered the treasure was gone. She intended to spring a perfect trap, turning her daughter-in-law's suffering into evidence to bring her down before the king in future confrontations. As the bedroom door clicked shut, Camilla believed she had executed a flawless crime. Having completed the vault heist, Camilla's greed remained unappeased. She headed back up to the second floor, marching straight into Kate's private bedroom, using a mess of the oak vanity table. Camilla smiled wickedly in the darkness of the vacant bedroom. She wanted to catch every conversation, every tear, and every plan of resistance containing high-tech scanning equipment he had personally obtained from a close friend in the underground special forces. Turning on the infrared scanner, he began sweeping every nook and cranny of the vast bedroom. Seeing his wife deeply distressed and hurt, the detective's blood and a fierce rage ignited within William like never before. He understood that if he used the ordinary palace security forces to conduct an open investigation, the information would instantly leak to Camilla, giving the culprit time to destroy the evidence. He resolved to act independently as a covert operative to protect his family. William locked the room door and instructed Kate to maintain a normal appearance, continuing to appear before the staff with a smile as if nothing had happened to misdirect any watching enemies. That night, when the entire palace had plunged into deep sleep, William secretly brought a small suitcase into the room. After just a few minutes of meticulous searching, the mini radar screen in his hand flashed continuous warnings as it scanned across the crevice of the oak vanity. A red tracking dot appeared clearly. Camilla's microscopic wiretap had been found. William stared intently at the red dot, his facial muscles tightening with rage at his voice trembling, but pronouncing each word deliberately, telling him that the real ring had been stolen and someone had broken into the room while they were away, leaving a fake right onto the palace's gilded floor before hundreds of live broadcasting camera lenses. In that moment of crowning humiliation, the diamond tiara on her head tilted sideways, tumbled onto the hard marble floor, and shattered into pieces, symbolizing the total collapse of everyone present without a single missing word. The filthy low truth of the court's most powerful woman was fully exposed to the light. The tables turning so rapidly caused Camilla to completely collapse, both mentally and physically. Not a single aristocratic guest or even her close aides stepped forward to catch her. Instead, they all stepped back in unison, looking at her with utter disgust and supreme contempt for a despicable thief. The crushing psychological pressure made Camilla's legs give out. She collapsed of a dynasty of lies. The following morning, an international media storm of devastating proportions swept across major newspapers from London and New York to Tokyo. The shocking headline hijacked the front pages of every daily newspaper in bold capital letters. Prince William reclaims Diana's sapphire ring from vault. Camilla denied access and exposed as a thief. The wave of public outrage reached an unprecedented peak in history. Thousands of citizens picked up the gemstone, examining it under the dim beam of a small flashlight, a malicious grin stretching across her aging face. But her crime did not stop at taking the real ring, quietly on ancient oak shelves. Camilla stepped forward, her hands trembling, not from fear, but from the raw greed and sheer exultation of a villain about to achieve her dark goal. She opened the blue velvet box where the sapphire ring was temporarily stored while Kate was away on her trip. Staff loyal to William. She pressed the card against the touch control panel. The light scanning the fake eye quickly shifted from a harsh red to green. The thick steel door glided open in absolute silence. Inside the vault, velvet boxes containing Diana's legacy lay. From her coat pocket, Camilla pulled out a forged authorization dossier she had ordered her subordinates to fabricate days prior. This file contained clauses proving that Diana had signed over the ring to the royal family's shared archive before her passing, thereby denying William's right of inheritance. Her trusted guard walked a few paces ahead to temporarily deactivate the light sensors along the way to avoid leaving a trail. In Camilla's hand was a forged biometric keycard, the result of days spent trapping and stealing retinal scan data from Paris to ignite a more catastrophic revenge, ready to tear down the throne of William and Kate. Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it. Dynasty completely fractured from within. Will Queen Camilla truly submit to her remote exile? Or is she secretly plotting to weaponize a top-secret 1997 dossier on Diana's fateful night in being gemologist from New York? Camilla's wicked plan was crystal clear. She would force Kate to remove the ring so this expert could examine it publicly under the resplendent attire, wearing a noble outfit designed to display her supreme status. Walking right beside her was an elderly man with silver hair, introduced as a world-lead bedroom, while Kate currently wore nothing but a high-grade glass fake swapped by her trusted guard. Camilla resolved to wait no longer. She wanted to strip her daughter-in-law of her honor with a ruthless finishing blow right in front of America's ultra-wealthy and international magnates. The perfect lights, thereby declaring that the Princess of Wales was wearing a cheap fake, turning her into a global laughingstock and a liar. Camilla slowly led the expert toward the prince, and opportunity arrived in the form of a grand royal gala held in the palace's Great Hall, gathering the most powerful figures on the planet, with media cameras permitted to operate in restricted areas. Camilla appeared in reassuring that the ring belonged to the crown, to the living to her, and not to a woman buried deep underground. Camilla unleashed all her mad jealousy in a torrent of rage, admitting that she wanted to seize the sapphire to extinguish Diana's presence from this palace once and for all. She believed that with her current position as constantly froze, becoming terrifyingly suffocating. In a low, menacing voice, William demanded to know how long she thought she could hide that sapphire ring, and whether her filthy games in the dark could ever erase Diana's memory from this dynasty. He stared directly into her eyes, every word delivered like an icy blade, cutting away the last shred of restraint between stepmother and stepson. Hearing this, Camilla, she snapped to her feet, her face distorted with fury and malice. She shrieked frantically about how much public humiliation and disdain she had endured just because of Diana's shadow. Declare's facade of arrogance instantly shattered under William's direct interrogation. Her deep-seated feminine envy and decades of resentment from living under the massive shadow of the deceased made her lose all self-control. Of people gathered outside Kensington Palace, the interior of the Wales's private office settled into a strange, warm tranquility. William gently brought the authentic blue velvet ring box back to Catherine after finalizing all strict protective property transfer protocols. Standing before his wife, he shed the psychological burden that had weighed. She was escorted to a desolate, isolated house in the remote northern countryside, placed under 24/7 security surveillance, and completely erased from all public events, forced to spend grand theft of national treasures. Shortly after Camilla stepped past the corridor, windows stripped of her splendid gowns and precious jewelry, clad only in a plain black coat, her aging face etched with absolute bitterness, shame, and isolation. And her remaining days in the chilling ostracization and ultimate ignominy of a social outcast. Meanwhile, amidst the resounding cheers of victory from the thousands who weighed heavily on him for years since his mother's passing, his eyes gleaming with the serenity and steadfastness of a man who had successfully defended his family's honor, William opened the box. Between him and King Charles had developed a deep, unhealable rift. The king was now left solitary in his empty quarters, while William and Kate faced a tempestuous future with the brother's legacy to a dry administrative asset. He established an ultimate boundary, asserting the Wales's position as guardians of the dynasty and keeping Diana's memory forever inviolable against any court political intrigues. However, this resounding victory came at a heavy cost. The father-son bond between politics. Kate tenderly took her husband's hand, reassuring him in a warm voice that this ring reminded her of her responsibility to honor Diana with dignity and compassion, rather than for competition. Took the brilliant sapphire and gently slipped it back onto Kate's ring finger. The deep blue gleam of the stone sparkled under the afternoon sunlight pouring through the large window. standing as a testament that Diana's soul had finally been liberated from dark power personal gain, helping the prince completely release the deep pain in his heart. The next morning, despite aides and advisors begging William to sign a mitigating statement to soothe public opinion and conceal the family fracture, the prince flatly refused, unwilling to reduce his in futile argument. He turned on his heel and walked straight out, leaving Camilla standing stranded in the middle of her drawing room, consumed by her own wild fury. William's and stealing the ring echoed violently, shattering the room's quiet. King Charles sat stunned in his chair, his aging face reflecting sheer shock, disgust, and anguish at the despicable actions of the queen. She possessed the authority to dictate everything, and no one could touch her. She dared William to find evidence to overthrow her before the king. But Camilla could never have guessed that right inside William's breast pocket, the black fountain pen he wore was actually a high-tech digital recording device capable of flawless noise filtering. Camilla's entire frantic confession, dripping with resentment and greed, was captured word for word. William cast a look of utter disgust at her, refraining from wasting another word. Next destination was King Charles's private study. Standing before his father, the prince did not resort to weak pleas or tears. He placed the recording pen directly onto the cedar desk and pressed play. Camilla's envious screams and her explicit admissions of swapping documents using money and subtle threats of dismissal to harvest every segment of the biometric security codes for the secret vault. The filthy crime was ignited by the deep-seated envy of a woman standing at the pinnacle of royal power, yet and vicious. She wanted to seize the sapphire, replace it with a sophisticated fake stone, and use the palace's own security system to isolate and break Kate's spirit. She wanted to prove that in this palace, she was the one who controlled all legacies, and no one was permitted to retain any remnants of that deceased woman, to destabilize her position as queen. The guard nodded coldly, the shadow of his coat stretching across the floor as he began his mission. He started approaching the night shift technical staff and covert protection from the queen. Camilla ordered the guard to use any means necessary to obtain the access codes for the security system of Diana's personal treasure vault buried deep underground. Her plan was clear, gestured for her most trusted bodyguard to enter through the back door. This man was completely loyal to Camilla, ready to execute her darkest commands in exchange for massive cash sums. Princess of Wales's table, where Kate sat elegantly in a royal blue dress, her hand resting gently on a silver plate. Wearing a loaded smile, Camilla spoke in a melodious yet venom-filled voice, projecting loudly so all surrounding she would be branded guilty of concealing a fake. If she agreed to remove it, humiliation would instantly be laid bare. Yet in complete contrast to her stepmother's smugness, Kate maintained a terrifying composure on her face. She looked up directly at Camilla, smiled faintly, and unhurriedly slipped off the sapphire ring, placing it onto the black velvet tray held by the expert. The gemologist stepped forward, under the spotlight of the stage, pulling a specialized microscope coupled with a powerful UV ultraviolet scanner from his pocket to examine the stone's structure. Camilla held her breath. Guests could hear. She announced that to welcome their powerful friends from America, the gem expert wished to admire Diana's legendary sapphire, the treasure everyone longed to see with their own eyes. Camilla eyed her bodyguard standing behind her, signaling him to stand ready to activate the hidden cameras of her allied media network. Every eye belonging to the American billionaires and aristocrats instantly locked onto Kate's ring finger. The atmosphere in the banquet hall suddenly froze tense to the point of suffocation. Camilla was certain that Kate would face an impossible dilemma if she refused. "I can't believe the ring is gone, but the ownership documents in the vault have vanished too. We have no way to prove it belonged to Mother anymore. Perhaps we must just accept it in silence and let them place it in the shared collection." Kate also sniffled softly, uttering painful words of resignation. Mother's audacity. Yet instead of ripping the device out and throwing it away, he raised his hand to signal Kate to remain silent. A counter-strategy instantly formed in the clever prince's mind. He knew that whoever planted this device was sitting on it to enhance the authenticity of the charade. On the other end, in her secret room at Clarence House, Camilla pressed her ear to the receiver, taking in the entire desperate dialogue. A triumphant grin spread across her face, utterly ecstatic in her belief that her strike had broken. On the other end of the line, anxiously eavesdropping to savor their downfall, William pulled Kate close to the device, gesturing for her to collaborate in a flawless performance. He intentionally adopted a somber, slightly despairing tone, speaking into the open air for the device to capture. And William and Kate completely. Camilla took a sip of wine, savoring the feeling of ruling the royal court, completely oblivious to the fact that while she was basking in this false victory, William had the wife he had always protected. He fell into a profound dilemma, completely crushed in spirit as he witnessed betrayal within his own family. William looked straight into his father's eyes, delivering a definitive ultimatum. If his father failed to take punitive action, he would deploy his entire influence, his hands trembling as he opened a secret drawer in his desk to extract the sole master key of black iron for the secure vault. He handed it to William, officially signing the directive to freeze all of Camilla's access to the legacy, turning her into a completely to expose this truth to the international media, accepting that the dynasty might falter rather than letting his mother's memory be trampled. Faced with his eldest son's vital resolve and the glaringly clear evidence of crime, King Charles could no longer tolerate it. He let out a bitter sigh. From all pathways to the vault, Camilla remained completely oblivious to the fact that her frantic confession recording was safely in William's hands. Her deep-seated arrogance and hubris led her to believe she still held the upper hand. In her mind, Diana's genuine sapphire ring rested in the secret safe in her own isolated figure under the guise of cold royal administrative procedures, leaving her utterly humiliated when she received the access denial notice before the king even had a chance to explain in person. Despite being blocked from haunted her mind. To Camilla, as long as that ring appeared on her daughter-in-law's hand, the public would always remember Diana and view her as a detestable interloper, an unwashable stain on this dynasty. She raised for money. It was the final warmth, the soul, and the embodiment of his late mother. For Camilla to treat it as a soulless item in a shared archive, to erase Diana's existence, was a dark insult to the pain. Words punctured the quiet space of the memorial like needles. Kate gently clenched her fist, her fingers digging into her palm, to maintain a shred of composure in front of the family members, feeling the icy chill emanating from the sapphire. She did not reply, her steadfast eyes staring straight at the woman opposite he had carried ever since his youth. That very night, the envy welling up inside Camilla morphed into a ruthless criminal plot. In her private chamber at Clarence House, she paced back and forth, unable to sleep, as the image of the sapphire on Kate's hand relentless her with silent disdain. Meanwhile, the blood in William's veins boiled his temples, throbbing violently. To him, the ring was not a piece of expensive jewelry to be appraised. Global media attention focused on an unthinkable crime right inside the palace. Queen Camilla was caught red-handed, secretly swapping fake documents in an attempt to strip this sacred treasure from Kate, driven to expose the perpetrator. This crushing counterstrike forced King Charles to deliver a ruthless verdict, handing the master key over to the Wales faction, while ordering Camilla's name stripped and banning her from the treasure vault, permanently in utter humiliation. What ironclad evidence did William undo by a lifelong envy of the deceased? Faced with this ruthless insult to his mother, Prince William immediately acted like a covert operative, personally setting a high-tech trap to
Media and royal commentators frame this as a major reputational crisis for the monarchy.
A dark scandal has just rocked the British royal family as the late Princess Diana's legendary sapphire ring suddenly vanished from the secure vault. Leash to make King Charles turn his back completely on his wife. Will Camilla accept defeat and shame, or will she launch a devastating revenge, unlocking the next horror? Behind fake pleasantries, William advanced directly toward her, closing the distance until he was inches away, pressing his unbridled wrath onto his opponent. The atmosphere in the drawing room instantly reading